Good morning students. Once again I welcome you all on online classes of Jamna Christian Junior High School. Students, we have started our annual course and I have completed chapter number 9. Today I will explain you chapter number 10, the Mauryan Administration. It is on page number 86. Now I will tell you about sources of the Mauryan Administration. Sources. The Mauryan administration was based on the guideline for good governance laid down by Chanakya in Arthashastra, the Edict of Ashoka and Indica by Megasthenes. Who had written the Edict of Ashoka and Indica by Megasthenes? Indica was written by Megasthenes. Give us a vivid account of the Mauryan rule. Now I will tell you about the administration of the Mauryan Empire. This is administration. The Mauryan king had supreme power. He was advised by a council of ministers called the Mantri Parishad. Ministers are called the Mantri Parishad. The government was divided into different departments. Example, treasury, industry, revenue, security, etc. Each department was looked after by the official appointed by the king. Official like Mathas looked after the day-to-day work of the administration. The vast empire was divided into provinces. Most of the important provinces were placed under the control of prince from the royal family. It was controlled by the prince called Kumars. They ruled as viceroy or representative of the king. The provinces were divided into districts. Each district had many nagaras or towns and grams or villages. At every level of administration, there were officials who looked after the day-to-day affairs of the government. Now, first capital city was Patliputra. The capital city of the Mauryan Empire was Patliputra. Mauryan Empire capital city was Patliputra. The administration of the city served as a model for city administration. There were 6 committees, each consisting of 5 members. Each committee was in charge of the particular department. The committee were industries, records of birth and deaths, care and comfort of foreigners, trade and commerce, manufacture and sale for goods, collection of taxes. There are 30 members also looked after committee problems, common problems related to health, sanitation, education, etc. The king had an elaborate spy system also, which kept him informed about viceroy and official as well as what was going on inside and outside of the kingdom. The Mauryan king had a large, well-occupied standing army also. The army included infantry, cavalry, elephant, chariots and a navy. There was a separate department to look after the production of weapons also. The army was always kept in high state of red lines even during Ashoka's reign. Patliputra was a magnificent walled city with numerous schools and watch towers. It was well connected to various parts of the empire also. The king lived in a grand palace. Now I will tell you about the Mauryan art. Mauryan art. The Mauryan period was an age of cultural brilliance. The artistic achievement of the period can be seen in the numerous stupas, monolithic pillars, caves and sculpted figure of the Ashokan period. Mauryan's art was greatly influenced by the Buddhism. Ashoka is supposed to have built or 84,000 stupas throughout the kingdom. Stupas are solid, semi-circular, domes-like structure made of stones and bricks. Buddha, such as his hair, tooth, etc., were cut in the base of the stupa. The Great Stupa at Sanchi is an outstanding specimen of Mauryan architecture. The Mauryan also built prayer halls and viharas, monasteries. Monolithic pillar inscribed with the edicts of Ashokas are being example of the remarkable skill and quality of Mauryan artists. The surface of the stone pillar were highly polished. The pillar at Sarnath is the most famous. The lion capital of this pillar is the most magnificent place of sculpture of the Mauryan period. 4 lions sitting back to back on a circular base have been exhaustively carved out from a single piece of stone. The base is decorated with sculpture of 4 animals separated by 4 wheels or dharm chakra. The lion capital was adopted as the national emblem also of India in 1950. A picture of the lion capital is also printed on Indian currency notes also. The wheels representing motions and progress. You all have seen the notes of Indian. There are in notes of Indian national emblem were also included. The wheel representing motion and progress can be seen our national flag. Our national flag also. Now I will tell you the Mauryan economy. Mauryan economy. The Mauryan rulers had unified the country and brought peace and stability also. These favorable conditions promoted the growth of the economy and made the empire rich and prosperous. Agriculture was the main occupation of the Mauryan Empire. Farmers were encouraged to bring more land under cultivation. Irrigation facility was provided to them. Land revenue collected from the farmers was the chief sources of income for the king. Other economic activities including mining and forestry as well as carpentry, poetry and masonry, trade and commerce also flourished. The merchant carried on both island and overseas trade. They had trade relation with Sri Lanka also, Egypt and Greece. Taxes were also collected from the people who worked in forests and others professions. They helped to pay salaries to officers, maintain the army and build roads and hospitals. When was the decline of the Mauryan Empire? Decline of the Mauryan Empire. Ashoka's death in 232 BC marked the beginning of the decline of the Mauryan Empire. Ashoka, there were many reasons for it. Now I will tell you the reasons of decline of the Mauryan Empire. Ashoka's successors were weak and insufficient. The empire was too vast and it was not easy to control the far-flung territories. In the absence of a strong central authority, the provincial viceroy declared themselves independent. The expense of maintaining large standing army and an elaborate administrative system was a heavy drain on the state treasury. The last Mauryan ruler Vidrat was killed by Pushpamitra Sunga, the founder of the Sunga dynasty. Thus ended a long and glorious chapter in the history of ancient India. Now I will tell you some values and skills. It is important for every country to value its history and heritage. Valuing our past is an important part of taking pride in our identity. Students, you have to draw the administrative structure of the Mauryan Empire. It is on page number 86. Here, see this. And write down important words. It is on page number 88. So the chapter 10 ends here. Thank you and have a nice day.